Good evening, everybody. This is Anna, the head of marketing and HR for Crimson, and I welcome each and every one of you here today on our virtual parent orientation. We are going to try and keep it short and crisp as we can be. I know it's a Sunday, and it really takes a lot of your time to be here on a Sunday when you actually have to spend time with your children and family. So we are really grateful to all the parents, and kudos to these parents who are here this evening, because you all are the truly involved parents that we have. So I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible. I'm going to talk less, but I would like to invite all our advisory board who have actually given us their time and are here to share as much as information as you would want to know about the Cambridge board. At the end of the evening, we're also going to open up to everybody for questions. So if you have any questions regarding the curriculum, the school, anything that you really need to know, you can please type it to us on the chat, or you can put us your raised hand and we will basically ask you the question at the end of the session. Please do not worry. We are going to answer all your questions today. Promise you, none of us are leaving from here till all your questions are answered. All the advisory board have committed and they've given me their time to say that we are here for the parents today. So thank you very much for all your time. I'm going to start with basically introducing our first keynote speaker, Father George Athaide, our parish priest of St. Pius Church and the manager of St. Pius International School. He has spent over 25 years as principal at various high schools and junior colleges. He has been the secretary of Archdiocesan Board of Education, managing over 150 schools across Mumbai, Thane, Maharashtra, and he's also a very enthusiastic sports lover, being a coach for the under-12 team for Don Bosco's. Father, kudos, yay, I love Father who's into sports. And again, like I said, I'm going to keep it short. Father, over to you, please.
Yes. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this meeting. I'm so glad that today we have the Crimson Education people with us, a whole team of St. Pius International School, and very gracious presence of Mr. Mahesh Srivastava, the Regional Director of South Asia Cambridge Board. I want to welcome you all lovers of St. Pius Educational Institution, our parishioners, our parents, and also those parents who are looking forward to an international education in the vicinity of Mulund. We began this journey just 3 years ago in the international board, but we've been having our SSC board school in Mulund for 50 years. In fact, last year was a golden jubilee year. With the pandemic, we couldn't celebrate it, but Father Gavin, the principal, and I have decided we're going to celebrate 50 plus 1. So we're going to add that 1 and say it's a celebration of 50 plus 1. So we've been here with the SSC board and now with the Cambridge International Board. Our vision for the children in Mulund and around is to cultivate them into a vibrant community of students. We develop their innate qualities, empower them to their full potential through a curriculum that is planned and an environment that is suitable. In fact, we are just renovating extensively independent school building that we were using for the primary section of the SSC board. Now the primary section has moved into the secondary section building, and they will work in a shift so that one building which was earlier for primary section is now totally dedicated to the international board. We are refurbishing the whole building so that it really meets the international standards. And so I really welcome you whenever you have time, just walk in and see the work that's going around. So you see for yourself that we want to create a good school environment for these students that they develop into all-round persons, all-round development, intellectual, social, physical, cultural. And therefore, we have a child-centric approach where we respect all castes, cultures, creed, and ethnicities, respect an individual as unique and valuable, respect for nature, and our responsibility to look after nature. We want to develop in the children integrity and honesty, justice and harmony, and surely once you are developed, you reach out to others in service. This is our vision statement, our mission, the core values for which we have this international school. We have begun 3 years ago. Now with the new building, with Crimson Education partnering with us, really, we are now just galloping ahead to have this school up and running as early as we can, as early as the pandemic allows children to come back to school. I'm grateful to you for the interest you have shown. Do come around, see the school, ask questions, and let's work together for your children who, once they come to our school, become my children. God bless you.
Well said, Father. Yes, the whole point of the international curriculum is empowering students. And I'm sure your parents would also want to know, as Father mentioned, we are moved into our own new building. At the end of the session, before we open up to questions, we will take you through a 3D render of the building. You will get to see how the building is, how the classroom looks. So please do not worry. And Father said, we are welcome to have you on board anytime you feel during these school hours to come and see the property. We would love to see and have you there. Let me now introduce to you our next guest speaker, Father Gavin D'Souza, who is the principal of St. Pius X High School and the St. Pius X International School. As a member of the executive committee of the Archdiocesan Board of Education, Mumbai, Father Gavin has previously managed around 5 schools in Mumbai and has also led 2 of these schools as principals before he started his tenure in Mulund in 2017. When he reached Mulund, he, together with the management, has been responsible for starting the St. Pius X International School in 2018 here in Mulund. Dedicated to providing children with a holistic education, he is now looking forward to taking the school to greater heights. Father Gavin, please, I would like to invite you to please say a few words on what has been the history and what has been the achievements of our schools, Father.
Reverend Father George Athaide, manager, Sir Mahesh of the Cambridge, all the members of Crimson Education Group, the staff members of the St. Pius 10th International School, my dear parents and my dear prospective students, a warm welcome to each one of you to this orientation of the St. Pius, the 10th International School. Now, I'll just give you a little brief about our school. You see, St. Pius the 10th School, High School, was established in the year 1970 by Father Valerian Godino, who promised that then residents an excellent English medium school. St. Pius X High School, since its inception, has always been and will always be a premier institute of education. That was the SSC board. However, in keeping with the mind of the Archdiocesan Board of Education, which we are affiliated to, we have sought to broaden our horizon. It has been our sincere desire to cater to students of other boards, especially the UK boards, namely IEYC, the International Early Years Curriculum in Cambridge. Accordingly, with the blessings of our Archbishop, Cardinal Oswald Gracious, we embarked on this venture and plunged into the world of international education. Well, after a lot of deliberation, we selected the IEYC, the international early years curriculum for the pre-primary students. Now, it was the only curriculum that we found which had a well-planned systematic curriculum. And so over the past 3 years, we have worked on this curriculum, and we have used this beautiful curriculum for our students. Of course, the higher classes, we have fixed the Cambridge International examinations. So we train our students in the higher classes for the CIE A levels. That means the 10th standard. So we have, as of now, we have planned, or we've kept our classes to, cater to students up to the CIE. That means the Cambridge International examinations A level. However, with the advent of Cambridge entering into the pre-primary section or sector, we have planned to move into now the Cambridge Early Years program. So from this year onwards, myself will talk to you about the Cambridge Early Years program, but we have decided that we will go ahead the entire school, the pre-primary as well as the primary and secondary sections will be the Cambridge board. We welcome each one of you to our school, the St. Pius 10th International School, and our motto of the school is Pursuit of Wisdom. We would like to move, and we have like to pursue wisdom. So that is our motto, Pursuit of Wisdom. We welcome all of you and wish you all the best. Thank you. God bless you.
Yes, Father, St. Pius International 10 is really ready, is a true international school now, and is ready to pursue the wisdom. I would now like to invite our next guest speaker, Mr. Francis Joseph, the CEO of Crimson Education and co-founder of SLN Global Network. He has more than 25 years in managing schools affiliated to the national and international boards in the country. He is the state coordinator of the Maharashtra State International Curriculum Committee and works with several authorities and education boards in policy making. Welcome, Mr. Francis. Please, we would like to hear from you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You need to just allow me because I'm also managing the Zoom. So
Yes.
thank you so much. Thank you, Father George, Father Gavin. Thank you, Mahesh, Farzana, ma'am, all of you. I don't see you so differently. You're all my team. So thank you for finding time to come today. Special thanks to all our parents who went on registering. I mean, I was seeing the flow continuously coming on till right now. People are also watching us on YouTube. Almost like 30-40 people are watching us on YouTube. But it's an amazing experience when you actually get to establish a good international school. My topic today is quickly, I'm going to talk about the future of schooling, especially after pandemic, right? It's almost like before pandemic and after pandemic. This has become like our benchmark right now. Post-pandemic, we expect a lot of consolidation required in schooling because children have been at home for a long time, pretty long time. A lot of habit formations have changed. Sleeping patterns have changed, not only for students, but also probably for teachers, right? I was talking to some teachers recently and I was saying, you finish all your classes in the morning, you got used to, yawning in the afternoon because everything has changed. So I think, and parallelly also the national education policy is being introduced, right? Where they are actually mixing both the pre-primary and primary. So right from nursery to grade 2 is going to be foundational years. And I think that's the best timing for Cambridge to announce the Cambridge early years, because that shows the priority of Cambridge to strengthen the national education policy. Now, the national education policies and the pandemic, these both are total game changers in education. Schools which are able to pick up and adapt to change will survive and sustain and will grow. And that's not impossible for schools like St. Pius because their foundation and legacy is there to back it up. We are very fortunate as Crimson. I mean, I've been working with Father George for maybe like 6 years now, especially when he was the secretary of the Archdiocese Board of Education. We were instrumental in many schools, right from Don Bosco's to St. Anne's, whenever the Catholic schools wanted to do an international curriculum. Probably mine was probably one of the first numbers to call just to see how do we do it. And we are very, very clear that the schools which we develop are very, very child-centric. We have a bank of resources who are experts in running international curriculum, right? Running an international curriculum requires internationally trained teachers in terms of the curriculum and the pedagogy. Pedagogy means the way you teach. So I think you cannot just recruit someone and put them into the school and think that she will just drive it. No. There's a lot of handholding required for the teacher, and schools which continuously give those kind of resources and those support to their teachers will sustain. So I think it's a very new version of schooling which is going to evolve after the pandemic. And I'm so happy that the school has decided to extend and introduce the Cambridge early years, because then it's like a seamless kind of travel right from nursery till grade 10th right now. And also one other beautiful thing is, I was in the school building today. The way the way the building is coming up, it's becoming so beautiful, right? And it's you might, like I was talking to Father George, and I was saying that we don't fix any kind of images inside the classroom, because we want our children to think very, very openly. So it's going to be a very different type of classroom. When you see the infrastructure, you'll realize, but it comes with an idea. We do not force any kind of thoughts on the child, because the child has to create that. And that is what schooling is supposed to do. Schooling is supposed to give you that environment, right? And children pick up and children learn, right? And teachers need to be given enough handholding, enough resources and materials to flourish, right? I think that's the best way to leave them together in the environment, and the environment just becomes a huge enabler to have the teaching and learning happening. And that's what we want to achieve in St. Pius. We do not see any school to be created like St. Pius 10th International School, because we are going to be like a very, very niche school, a small, like a boutique school. We are not a mass school where you will have, like 3,000 kids studying. So St. Pius is already doing that. They've got so many children already coming to the existing state board school. Now, I think this is almost like a boutique school, a niche school, where there'll be a single division which will grow, So there's going to be a huge rush for admissions, because we have done similar kind of projects, and we have always seen that it is very, very tough to get admissions in such schools, because there is limited seats for every grade. Even if we want to expand, we'll not be able to expand, because we have decided that it is going to be a boutique school. So I think the children and the parents who actually trusted the school in the initial days, I really want to compliment them, because they trusted the total value system and the leadership of the school. So I want to really applaud and appreciate all their efforts. And we look forward for this journey. Thank you, Father George and Father Gavin, for trusting us as a team. And trust me, next year, this time, we will start, we might not even want to have a parent orientation, because you'll only get calls to close admissions. That's my promise to you. Thank you so much.
Francis, if you would like to please introduce our special guest speaker of the evening.
Sure. Thank you. So let me introduce Mahesh. Let me bring him on the screen. Okay. So welcome, Mahesh. Mahesh Srivastava is the Regional Director for South Asia for Cambridge Assessment International Examination. They are earlier used to known as CIE, which is now Cambridge Assessment International Examination. Mahesh is very, very passionate, and I'm going to let his passion drive him. But I'll tell you, for him to find time today to come to our school, he had a family function today, which he actually postponed. I'm sorry, I'm getting personal here, Mahesh. I know,
Right, Francis.
but I think it's your passion really drives you. And thank you so much from from all of us. Also, I want to thank Cambridge for all the support, right from Akshay to everyone. The team has always stood with us, even when we were a small school, even when the idea was introduced. They've always stood with us. So we are very, very happy and very encouraged by the way Cambridge is helping us to manage our schools. Also, I want to really thank you for two decisions which Cambridge took. One is making it the examination come in the Feb March series, which was I think, the most important decision for the children of India. Because they are able to get into the university system. And this is the second most important decision you have taken, I think, which is the introduction of the early years. Because early years was always a little bit, everyone used to have different curriculums. And then, when the transition comes from pre-primary to grade one, I think every school used to manage on their own. But I think with early years coming in, it will really become seamless. So thank you for both these decisions, and over to you, Mahesh. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you very much for the lovely introduction. And it's good amongst with the passionate educator like you, Farzana, Tasneem, Father George, and Father Gavin. Uh, Thank you, Father George, for telling of the Saint Pius vision and mission. And thank you, Father Gavin, for all those details. And Father Gavin has given the right way that how Saint Pius is poised to grow. Let me tell you that what Cambridge International Board is first. I will not go with the written script. I will just take liberty to talk from my heart. So, what is Cambridge Board? Cambridge Board is a part of Cambridge University, and we work in 10,000 schools in 160 countries. So when we say you talk about 10,000 school in 160 countries, how it is adaptable to your place. See, it's a global education. It doesn't mean that it is only relevant to US and UK. All the school in India has been built up enough flexibility to talk about of the Indianization of those schools, same time remain relevant at the globalized era. See, we are working on a global economy. What's happening in America, what is happening in UK, it all impact us. A simple example of flood, what happened and what's happening in a farmer things over here, it impact globe. So it's good that going forward, we all are going to be a global organization. And when you are working in a global scenario, I'm not sure that tomorrow, when your kid will go and work, maybe in a one project, the person will be working from Afghanistan or Tanzania or New York or Silicon Valley or Delhi or Mumbai. So to build that culture, it's good to have an international board, and Cambridge just does like that. So what is the benefit of Cambridge board? What I'm saying that Cambridge does this, I do not have any intent to undermine any other board. Every other board serve their community. You all have given your Sunday time. It means that you're much more serious of investing in your child schooling and child, you're much more involved in your school education. So basically Cambridge is aspiring, and Cambridge has those type of parent who wanted to involve in a students. And there's a one study happened by Hickman, and which says that the child growth, the mind development happen at the age of 3 to 8. What happened prior to a couple of years back, we save the money, we invest our money for the higher education. But what's the fun when the damage has been done? The most of the student brave involve at the age of 3 to 8, and Heckman analysis does the same thing. The biggest thing happening nowadays in education, and if you go any of the conference, people talk of a national education policy. It's a revolutionary change. And national education policy is all pitching a lot of emphasis to the early year education. Why? Because now it has been scientifically proved what you are going to train the students at class 3 to class 8. It is the best time when the brain develops. It puts a lot of importance. If your child, the 80% of the development of your child is happening in that age, and if you are giving them a right type of environment, rest assured his career is share. Now let's talk about that what is an international board and what's the perception around. International board doesn't mean that your student have to go to international board. That means that he has to go outside in the US, in UK, and do their future studies. No, even your SSC board can do that. Then why you will invest over here? See, the international board, especially if you talk about the Cambridge, it brings two things. One is the flexibility, the choice of subject. Second, onus of learning. Onus of learning is very important. See, when if you go to the normal scenario, teacher teaches, and the onus of all the education delivery is on the teachers. Here, we work, we work as an enabler, and onus is on a student, your learner. Your student is the center of all the things happening. So who is the responsible? The learning responsibility lies on the student. And Cambridge, the trained teachers, the buildings, they are the enablers. So what they do being enablers, they bring out the curiosity. Their job is to bring, ignite that curiosity so that your student becomes the lifelong learner. See, this pandemic has taught one thing: you have to learn, you have to unlearn, and then you have to relearn again. The work is changing like anything. Years back, nobody has thought that the world will change. And one thing is very clear: going forward, going future, the change will be much more rapid. If the change is going to much more ready, what is the skill that you are looking at? And what is the best thing I can give my kid? Right. Every parent wanted to give, some wanted to give the property, some wanted to give the right character, some wanted to give the right skill set. And here, we are here to support to get the right skill set. What will be the right skill set? Collaboration. So when your student appears in the Cambridge, he will be with 10,000 schools in 160 countries, and he will develop a better coordination skill. He knows how to collaborate the thing. Next skill set is the innovation. We work on a innovation. Next question will be, so these things your regular exam board is talking about. So what new you are thinking? If you go to the NEP, they talk about the same skill set. You go off the NEA board, they talk about those skills. So what unique Cambridge is bringing then? See, I CBSE and other board have got a large student audience, and their community is different and their aspiration is different. See, whatever we say, marks are important. When marks are important, so teacher will teach what the assessment board look like and what the assessment is going to measure. Whether your assessment board or exam board is going to measure your ability to reproduce the content, which we call as a rote learning, or your examination board is going to measure those skills which is going to matter in a future. That makes a difference, and that makes Cambridge board a uniquely positioned board. The third limit which parents are having: what about if my student has got those skill set and he do not wanted to go outside India and study? See, our qualification is as recognized as any other qualification, either it's a CBSC, ICSE, or your state board. So when your student is going on a pathways of Cambridge from early year to IGCSE and A level, he has got both the word in his hand. If he wanted to go globe, he's very much there. Why he's very much there? Because our qualification is international recognized, whether it's the US, UK, Europe, due to the any part. Second thing is, if he wanted to study in India and he wanted to crack IIT, the skill set which we developed made it much easier to crack those competitive examination. See, competitive examination, IIT, JEE, PMT, and AEE, they are also enhanced, and they are also checking your hot other skill thinking, higher other thinking skill, and your experiential learning, whether you can apply those concepts. It's no longer that you learn the concept and you reproduce it what it used to be in our era. So now these examinations are changing, and they wanted to assess that skill set, whether you can innovate, whether you can think differently, what the concept you have learned, whether you can apply. So those are the skill set now the new NEET and other JEE examination is going to think, and we prepare the student accordingly. So when I say these two things, your student are equipped with the future life skill. One. Second, your student can apply, your kids can apply everywhere. And two important thing we are ingraining in early. One is a curiosity, which makes him a lifelong learner. when your student join Cambridge board, he will be get those skill set. Same time, the certification, which is valuable, recognized across the globe. So that was from my end. Thank you, Francis. I'm open for any question at the end. I will remain here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mahesh. Anna, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Mahesh. Rightly said, the curiosity that we build in the student in the early years is going to make him a lifelong learner. We all agree to that. We've seen that, and we've seen the success of a lot of our children who've come out of the CAIE programs, and it's been brilliant. Now, let me introduce our next guest speaker. What can I tell you about her? She's a champion of the international education. Mrs. Farzana Dohadwala. She's an award-winning educator. She has authored many articles and also has a book to her name. A double postgraduate in economics and education. She has been the former IB representative for Asia and is the executive chairman of Crimson Education and the vice president of Early Childhood Association and Association of Primary Education and Research. Let me tell you, parents, her passion is to develop skill set in students and to make them future ready. Over to you, Farzana ma'am. Could you please share your insights on which board should parents choose?
Good evening, everyone. It's lovely to see parents so dedicated on a Sunday evening. And this is a question which has often been asked to me, which board should I choose? I have counseled, I'm a parent coach, so a lot of these questions come my way. There's so much confusion in people's mind. So should I choose a national board or an international board? Even within international or within national, there is so much, it's like we have a menu of so many things available, which was not happening when you and I studied. So what should we choose? So friends, just let's take a step backward and think, what do you want to give your children as the end of their education journey? Do you want to offer them to become, have wings, or would you want them to have roots? Now, that is a deep question which I'm asking. And most Indians, when I talk to them, they usually say, Miss, we want both. Yes, friends, it is the combination of the wings and the roots. Roots is we have our Indian traditions, cultures, and respect, and what we have, that's very much there. Plus, of course, you will have the wings. You want to give your child the wings to fly high up in the academic sky. So it's so important that we have a combination of both in the education philosophy that we choose for our children. Another question which often comes to me is that, do you think it's more like a myth, or is it a fad that, I should put my child in an international school? Friends, it is not. And this has been, over the years, I've been talking to people and I've been convincing them, it is actually this demand for international education has been parent driven rather than school driven. Take the example of St. Pius. They were good SSC medium school, but there was a demand from the local community, from some of their parents, that we want international education. So it's more a parent driven thing rather than a school driven thing. Please remember this first point. Now, what board will I choose? You need to see for yourself what type of education you want to give. Do you want to give in a content-driven education? I have studied, my son has studied, it's all in the national curriculum. I'm quite in favor. What I am today, hats off to my national curriculum. But the times have changed. It's become, because of the numbers in the class, what happens, I'm just telling you, just showing you a scenario. There you come, the child finishes school, the car is waiting for your child, have your juice and sandwich in the car, running from one tuition to the next tuition to the third tuition. Is this the childhood that we want to offer our children? Is this what Mahesh sir was talking about, skill education? We are just content slaves. We just want to keep our children like, information boxes. But unfortunately, now the world has changed. With the internet, there is so much of information. We need to teach our children concepts. There should be clarity. It should be spiral in nature, so you build from one to another. Cambridge, and I endorse that because it has got a very good spiral way of doing the learning outcomes for the children. Again, it's stress free, and that's exactly what the NEP tells us. It has to be holistic, it has to be stress free, and it has to be fun in learning. I'm sure fun in learning, I don't want to spoil my child's childhood. You and I are stressed today for every small thing. But our children need to have that relaxation because when they mature, they're going to have a lot of problems. The way you and I have studied, we used to have the traditional bell. Hindi period hua bell, maths period bell, geography period bell. We were robots, friends, because we were able to switch off and switch on. There was nothing like transdisciplinary learning. We never used the knowledge of one subject into another. Just take this very small example. If I am doing a physics problem solution, and if I don't have math skills, how will I be able to solve my physics problem? So it's transdisciplinary. And that's exactly what the Cambridge program aims at, that the teachers collaborate. You know, Mahesh sir talked about collaboration. Yes, the teachers have to collaborate not only horizontally between the divisions, but also vertically between the grades, so that there is a spiral curriculum and the children learn through fun, experience from, and sometimes we teach very abstract concepts, and we expect that young child in maybe the first or second will understand it. Sorry, friends, they will mug it up. And when it's asked in an assessment paper, they will vomit it out on the paper. What we want is deep learning. How does deep learning happen? If they have learned through experience, if they have actually inquired. And these are the strategies which we will be talking about. I just share one more example with you all, friends, and that's about, suppose I'm doing a unit of inquiry in understanding the world, and it's something in grade 3 or 4 if I pick up, and it's about architects, sorry, it's about archaeology. Your child in class, when the teacher will say, today, we're going to learn about archaeology and whatever, the child is lost. He doesn't understand. But in the same way, if we do something which is so inquiry and fun driven, for example, I'll give you an example. The teacher before digs up in a pot and puts a spoon, a earring, things like that. The next day, the teacher takes them. Today, we are going to become archaeologists. Wear your gloves. Come on, take your magnifying glasses. Off we go. Off they go, and they dig up. And, oh, wow, let me take a picture. You found a broken spoon. How many centuries old it must be? Oh, the other child says. So you see that excitement of unearthing things from the mud. When they come back, they display everything, they date it, name it, and that's how inquiry begins. And that's when the teacher says, children, you all were the archaeologists today. This is the work of an archaeologist. So you see, in a very fun way, you can teach children a lot of stuff. Two other reasons which I would like to give you why Cambridge. It's not because Mahesh sir is there and because we are talking about a Cambridge program, but I am passionate and I truly believe in it. Cambridge has been very, very India-centric. They believe they don't want to create a brain drain in India. So it's not that all the children who study in the international program have to go overseas. They have introduced something called the Feb March series. That series which Francis was talking about. That means your child writes his exam in Feb March. He gets his results in May. So when the online admissions happen, your child is ready with the ICSE or the HSC children. Again, understand, this is a big, big thing. My child can continue after my grade 10 exam, IGCSE, into a national college. Then you would say, then why should I put in an international school if I have to put him back into 11th and 12th in an international in a national college? Friends, learning, becoming a self-learner, becoming an inquirer, these are skills. Then you push him into any milieu, he will be able to succeed. And other thing is they give you 2 mark sheets. One mark sheet in letter grades and 1 mark sheet in marks. So if you're going back into Indian universities, you get the letter, you use the mark sheet in marks. If you're going overseas, you use the letter grades. So you see, it's so convenient. It's a smooth road. Whatever you plan for your child, you can. There are window of opportunities there to move whenever you want to move. So if there is a parent who is on a movable job, he gets transferred, no issues. There are Cambridge schools all across India. He spoke about 160 countries or something, Mr. Mahesh told us. So friends, I end my point to say, think about it. There is no hurry, but think what you want to offer your child. The plate, the menu is there for you. You will have to pick and choose. Choice is yours, and you will have to take this decision. We are just helping you to take the decision today. Thank you. Anna, over to you. Anna, we can't hear you.
Thank you, Farzana ma'am. That was very, very insightful. Parents like Farzana ma'am said, yes, you have the menu, you have the options, you have a great team to support the children on the back end, but all would come down in the end to the choice you make. The school is future ready. The children are ready to be the future of the world. Are you ready to take the right step and to make the right decision? And with having said that, let us introduce to you our next guest speaker, who is truly passionate about international education. With over 10 years of experience in the IB Primary Years program as an IB PYP facilitator, a team leader, PYP coordinator, and the member of the school pedagogical leadership team, she's also been a Cambridge primary program trainer. She specializes in conducting pedagogical training, workshops for teachers in national and international curriculum design and implementation. Let's welcome this young, dynamic educator, Mrs. Tasneem Dohadwala, who will take us through teaching strategies in a learner-centric classroom. Welcome, Tasneem, and over to you.
Thank you, Anna. Anna, am I audible?
Yes.
Great. Good evening, everyone. So I think we've been seated for about 48 minutes precisely, and you've been a wonderful audience, I must say. I think if it were children, both things would have been switched off by now. But kudos to all of you sitting here in front of us. I am the last speaker, fortunately, unfortunately, however you may call it. But before I begin, I think it's time for some brain gym. That's very, very important for your focus to come back. So I'm, to ensure that you are with me and you make the most of my last session. One quick exercise with all of you. If you've seen if you're not on screen, it's fine. If you've kept your videos off, it's absolutely fine. You can still do it. I saw one little child also over there with Mr. and Mrs. Amit. I think I saw them. If that child is there with you, I think he'll also enjoy. So everyone, let's put up a right hand or left hand, whichever dominant hand. Up, out, thumbs up, everyone. Okay, stretch it as much as you can in front of you. And now you are going to make the figure 8. Now, when you are making the figure 8, you got to look at your thumb and focus. So here I go. I'm going up in the air, coming down, making my 8. It is a little wobbly, that's fine, but let's do that once more. All right. 1, 2, 3, go. Fantastic. All right. So everybody's back here with me. This would have happened a little more often and for a longer period in time if I was in a class, but we have less time. So I'm going to quickly move ahead. Francis, I'll have to share the screen. Yeah.
You are a co-host.
Yes, yes. Got it. Just a minute. Okay. Sometimes these things take a little time. Sorry. Yeah. All right. So, good evening, parents. It's such a pleasure to be here amongst you all who are focused, on providing an education which will truly, help your child be future ready. So today, I'm really looking forward to facilitate an understanding and provide you all with an insight into a few strategies. These are just one or two of the many that we would use in the classroom. But these strategies are loved by our children. They are absolutely stress-free. They're doable, implementable by a teacher as well. And most importantly, it helps the child experience the whole process in a way that they really want to learn. All right. It's not bookish knowledge where the teacher stands in front and says, come on, do this. The kids are actually involved. They take the lead. All right. That is very important. So it's a student-centered classroom. So these strategies actually are very experiential. They're inquiry driven. And, it helps the students get the skills that they're required to keep and ready for themselves. So before I begin, just want to start with this favorite quote of mine by Benjamin Franklin. It says, tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. So dear parents, learning at St. Pius will be focused upon creating an environment which helps our children to explore, engage and experience. So let's quickly begin. I'd like to share the first strategy with all of you. This is called the placemat strategy. One of the most popular strategies, my personal favorite, can be applied to any age group for that matter. So what is this strategy all about? Firstly, the reason of doing this strategy. Think about it. You and me, when we've studied, a teacher asks a question. I think only 4 or 5 in a class would be probably answering. Not because you don't know the answer, but you may be shy, all right, to answer. So here, this strategy gives students the choice to share their voice. Very, very important. We want to make sure that every child seated in the class is able to express themselves. So how does this work? So you simply have a sheet of paper, which is provided to the students. This is how it looks, okay? I'm sure you're wondering what that thing is. I'm going to come to that very soon. So what happens in this is there is an object or an image given to the students. They work in groups, all right? The object is placed in the center or the image is placed in the center of the sheet. There are 4 questions around it. Students sit together in a group, discuss. They learn to listen, accept opinions and ideas. And then each child writes down what he or she thinks, what is the right answer about to this question. There is nothing right and wrong. It is their perception. All right. So once they write down the answers, they move to the next group and the other group moves ahead and they keep rotating and seeing what their other friends have also written. So you're learning by observation as well. You're taking in ideas for your friends from your friends as well. So this strategy works beautifully, especially with a science concept, social studies concept, where you really want the kids to think of, artifacts. Like Farzana ma'am gave an idea about, the civilizations and archaeology. I would have done this at that point in time. Now I'm sure you're wondering what this thing is. Anyone wants to tell me in the chat? What do you think this is?
Sorry, Tasneem, I think everyone is on mute.
Okay, in the chat. All right. Any which way, I don't want to take much of your time, but this is actually the strand of an X-ray hair. Okay, it's under the X-ray machine, the strand of your dyed hair. Okay, that's what this is. All right. So, and then that gets the kids really curious as to, wow, what is this going to be all about? And what do I know about it? What do I want to know more about this? And that's how the whole learning starts. Rather than the teacher telling them what it is, the students are self-learning and uncovering. Another very interesting activity or a fun activity is, this bus stop strategy. I also personally love this because this provides students with the freedom of movement in class. All right, sorry, I'll just come back to that. Yeah, so it says stop, look, and proceed. This is a whole lot of fun, because children, like I said, can move. There are a lot of kinesthetic learners in our classroom, parents. We have to understand that. They need to move. They can't be seated. Like I was seated for 48 minutes and I got restless after some time. You need to get up and move, right? So that is why this strategy works beautifully. So, when you're teaching something about plants, animals, vegetables, the teacher displays different objects or images pertaining to that topic or concept in different corners of her room. Then starts the bus stop strategy. Every child will go to that corner, look, carefully observe, and then proceed the moment the teacher blows the whistle. They move to the next corner. They finish all their corners and they come back and discuss in the group what they saw, any questions that may have, what do they still wonder about, what do they want to know more about this particular topic. And then again, that's how the process rolls. Again, some more thinking. We always say critical thinking, thinking outside the box, but how does one do that? Sometimes I feel it's easier said than done. Don't you agree with me? But yes, honestly, it's easier said than done when you use Tony Ryan's thinker keys. Tony Ryan thinker keys are 20 set of keys. All right, there are 10 for critical thinking and there are 10 keys for creative thinking. So now what do I mean by that? Let me show you an example. So each key, like I said, has a specific purpose. Okay, for example, if I'm using, we often tell our children to draw something, like, come on, draw a mobile phone. How would you want the new generation mobile phone to be? Or draw a ship, draw a car. If I was told, sometimes I'd be like, how do I start? Where do I start? I don't know what to do. It's not that I don't know it, but I'm skeptical that how does my teacher want it? What am I supposed to do about it? What is the end outcome of the whole thing? So I use the simple thing called the bar key. What is bar? Make it bigger, you add or you replace. So if I'm asking my students to draw a new car, the new modern age car, or a new mobile phone, they think, look at an existing phone, think about it. Make it slightly bigger if you want to in size instead of the small phones. Sorry. Add some new feature to it. How about that? And then remove or replace a feature which you think is not required. And you see, the mobile phones are ready. Another favorite key of mine is the different uses key. Suppose I'm doing a topic on materials, matter, materials, different types of materials. I'll give them a spoon and I would ask them, instead of just using this as a spoon, what else do you think I could use this for? And you have no idea how creative the students can be. They can come up with some amazing creative ideas. One last key I'd like to share with you. There are 20, I'm not going to get into all, but this is my favorite, so I have to tell you about this. Whenever celebrations come up or there are festivities around the corner, we always ask, what would you like as your gift? What would you like to, take as a present? Have we ever reversed it and thought, what would you not like as a present? Or what would you not like as part of this celebration? Difficult to think at times immediately. We always ask, what do you see at a farm? Have you ever asked students, what do you not see at a farm? So these are the critical thinking skills that we imbibe within our students. And the last one that I would like to talk about is the what if key. Again, one of my personal favorites. What if the moon, what if the sun didn't shine today? What would happen? Okay. Weird, crazy answers from the students, but that gets them to think. There is nothing right and wrong. We just want participation. That's more important from our students. And now I'll come to the last strategy for today. Sorry, my screen is a little slow. Is that moving ahead? No, okay. What's going on? Okay. Yes. So this is again a favorite amongst the students because again, we often say, put on your thinking caps. Come on, think outside the box, think out of the box. So literally, we give them caps to think. All right. So Edward de Bono's 6 thinking caps. Each cap has a different color and they have a different purpose. Okay. The colors have a specific purpose. I'm going to show you the caps right now immediately. So if you just see, there's a feelings cap, which is the red color, which talks about how you feel about something. There is a green color cap which we give our children, and that's the creativity cap. You have a cap for advantages. What is the advantage of something? What are the disadvantages of something? So you have the yellow cap for that, for advantages, and then you have a black cap for disadvantages. So I'll give you a small example. Suppose I'm using the yellow cap for today. All right, I'll tell all my students, come on, it's time to wear your yellow cap, and today you're going to think creatively. Okay, or today you're going to think, give me the positives about something. All right, so what do I mean by that? Think, what if there was an alien in your classroom today? How would that help? What are the advantages of having an alien in your classroom? Or what would be an advantage, to have an alien in your bedroom? All right, think. And I remember one child telling me, Miss, he would do all my homework. And I laughed. I said, wow, that is so amazing. That's such a good thought process. And that also made me think that I'm giving my children too much homework, maybe, probably. So, but yeah, that's, so the teacher also gets to understand the thought process of the child. And if you see the white hat, it's all about facts. So, we give them some boxes, a mystery box, there's a pet picture inside, and they just unveil it and see, oh, this is a picture of a dog. And what do I know about the dog? So when I want to do a unit on animals, I want to know what my child already knows about this particular topic or these particular animals. I use the white hat to get to understand their prior knowledge. So that was the last bit. And I would just end with, I have lots of ideas to share and lots of strategies, but I'm running short of time. But yeah, so reflection is the key for learning. It is extremely essential, parents. We are constantly reflecting as educators, as teachers. We also want our students to reflect. And it is important because that reflection helps them to move ahead in their learning journey. So I love this particular strategy of passing the ball. My kids love it too. I just take a plastic ball, I put some questions on it, and I throw. I throw it to any child I want to first. There are questions. Whatever question pops up, the child answers, throws it to the next child. And in this way, through movement, through a fun game, students answer something that I want to understand, and they don't even realize they're being assessed at that point in time. So that's it from me. And just want to end with this slide. Every child is a genius, parents. All we need to do is tap their potential. And that's exactly what we aim at St. Pius. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. And thank you, Anna. Over to you.
Thank you, Tasneem. I am so intrigued and so interested in what you said, and it really took me back into. I want to learn now. I wish I was in this generation, and if I could learn something like this rather than basically having my teacher tell me, "Open your textbook and read this page, and be ready to write." This is amazing, and that's what it is, parents. I mean, we've had 6 wonderful guest speakers this evening, and they've actually given us 6 thinking caps. The knowledge they've shared today actually gives us 6 thinking caps. We've shared knowledge on what board to choose, in terms of everything from Cambridge education to the future of schooling, to Tasneem taking us insightfully into how children can learn. It's been absolutely beautiful, and this is something that we're going to leave you parents with a reflection, for you to reflect upon. Take these 6 the points that we've got from the 6 speakers, and make the right decision, the right choice. The choice is all yours. I'm sure you guys have all heard now, and the next thing we want to know is, how is the school? So now we're going to take you into the 3D rendering of how the school looks. Francis, if you can please play the video. Thank you very much, Francis. Yes, parents, this is just a small walkthrough of what our school looks like. But trust me, if you walk in there personally yourself, you would find it even more interesting, and you're going to love it even more. I know the next thing that the parents always want to know is, what are we going to shell out? How heavy is it going to be on our pocket? What's going to be the fee structure? Will my child get an admission? What is the age criteria? So I'm going to just share the slide. Francis, if you could share the slide with the fee structure.
I think I'm just having some issues sharing that. But I think what we can do, Anna, is probably when they come to the school, we can probably share that.
Sure.
I'm not able to, but I think there are some questions which has come on the chat. Can I address those? And maybe
Yes,
also
please.
Mahesh and Farzana ma'am can also support me. I think the first question from Joel is about what's the impact of national education policy in international when it is implemented. I'll quickly say just one liner that the national education policy is an aspirational document released by the government of India to transform the total education system all through. It's not only to transform curriculum, but they're trying to transform the whole education system. And if you see minutely on when it comes to the curriculum and pedagogies, you will see many things which are already happening in a lot of international schools. Is now they want to extend those to also their, the state board schools, and So I think, Farzana ma'am, you want to add something before we ask Mahesh? Yeah.
Yeah, I think basically it's the NEP is putting holistic development as the first vital ingredient in schooling, and that's exactly what we are planning to do at St. Pius. So I think we will be one of the first forerunners when Maharashtra brings about the implementation, because whatever we plan to do along with Cambridge is going to be very NEP compliant, because it is what we are saying and what we are doing is what NEP is also will ask all schools to do.
Mahesh, any thoughts?
Yes, Cambridge International is fully compliant with the national education policy and support their approach, and our early year program is in just in that directions.
Thank you, Mahesh. I think another question is, can one shift to another board and vice versa as the child grows? Yes, I think the national education policy is very, very clear. There is going to be not only flexibility between the boards, because assessment is also going to be standardized. There's going to be an accreditation, which is going to be common for all schools. So I think what really happens is the bigger responsibility is given to the school more than to the board. The school has to transform itself. So the, like I in my introduction message I mentioned that if you transform your school, then I think you are just aligned. That means by handholding teachers, focusing on the resources, and being child centric in the way you teach and learn. So I think transition is going to be very, very smooth to any boards, and all boards like the international, Cambridge, IB, CBSE, ICSE, all, I mean, it's the transfer is going to be very easy. Even in the national education policy, in the higher education, you can see there's flexibility of subjects. All those things are evolving. So I think we are coming with a very, very student-centric kind of policy. Uh, then there is a question from Vivan saying,
Francis, could I add a bit
yeah,
to
please,
this?
please.
I think this parent was asking about the movement from maybe one other national board to an international board, you know.
Sure.
So I think, friends, as I said, you know, what you teach as content in junior or senior or grade 1 or 2, content is quite similar, friends. So I am in nursery, I'm going to teach literacy and numeracy, which would happen in any school. So the movement is very easy. Where the uniqueness and the difference comes is the way you teach and learn in your classrooms. Like you saw some examples which Tasneem shared with you. So the movement parents is going to be very easy. The child will never feel that, oh, I was studying in one pattern and now this. They will love, because it is a very fun way of learning. Content, do not worry, it's very similar. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think the next question was: is this your first year venture in IB board? No, we are not doing IB. Farzana ma'am used to head IB for 18 years, but if you see, I mean, unofficially I can tell you, but her heart totally is towards Cambridge, because because of the flexibility Cambridge board offers, right, to the schools and to the students and teachers. It's not that we are against any other board. We also work with IB boards. We also work with CBSE and ICSE. But yes, this school now, from this academic year, right from early years and it will grow till grade 10 in due course over the years. And it will always be a Cambridge school in full, a total boutique and a niche Cambridge school in Mulund. That's the vision of the school. Other questions are, what are the selection criteria for admissions? There is a set criteria which our school team will share when you visit the school. But do understand that we are not expecting them to be Albert Einstein when they come at nursery. No, because we expect them to be just children, right? And I think that's the only most important criteria, because then it is left to the school to see how we can work with the children, right? So we believe the potential of every child, like when Father George was mentioning about that uniqueness. I think that is what he mentioned. Now Father George wants to just add some point. Yeah, Father.
I just want to add, can you hear me?
Yes, Father.
Yeah. I want to add that as of now, we are from the nursery to grade 2. Coming year, we begin with we introduce grade 3. So admissions are open from the nursery, that is a child who is 3 years old by 31st December 2021 would come into the nursery, and we move that way. We are open now. Admissions are open till grade 3. Of course, from junior KG to 3, all admissions open. Our office is open in the mornings from 9 to 12, Monday to Saturday.
Yeah, thank you, Father George. I think I'll get down to the next question. What are the timings of the school? Is there a shift, Father George or Father Gavin? Would you like to share? Yeah.
We have already actually put that answer to the question. For For the nursery, it's from 8:30 to 11:30. And for the other other classes, that means the primary section, it'll be from 8:30 to 2.
Yeah, and in the international school there is no shift.
Yeah, there's no shift in that.
Yeah. Then Simant is asking, are you starting only EYP in and PYP or MYP? No, these are what programs you mentioned. PYP, MYP is basically an IB program. We are not offering the IB program. The school is going to be totally Cambridge, right from early years till grade 10. So it is known as Cambridge early years to IGCSE. IGCSE is the examination at grade 10. So all through. Yeah, what kind of co-curricular activities will the school offer? I think yeah, we are going to be very, very inspired by the national education policy here, where the policy clearly states that everything has to be integrated, right? So in due course, the sports, arts, everything is going to be integrated the way you teach and learn in the school. So the word co-curricular is not going to exist in national education policy because it is going to be part of the main teaching and learning. That is one of the biggest goal of NEP. That's my response to that. Unless anyone else wants to respond. Farzana ma'am, you want to share? Or
Yeah, besides the holistic development of art, music, and drama, of course, there will be a lot of other, like there will be training in sports. But friends, remember, this will all be age specific. So as the child grows, the sports program will also grow based on the age of the child. So of course, we want to be forerunners in sports also. We want our children to be taking part in various competitions, inter-district, also inter-school. So yes, we will have a lot of other activities. There is something in the middle school which we call as Mock United Nations. We have Enterprise Challenge. We'll be doing very interesting stuff. So, but it will be part of the school day. That's not an extra hour after school or come on a Saturday. No, friends. It'll all be integrated as NAP wants us to do. Over to you, Francis.
yeah, I think there's a very relevant question from Cheryl. She says that the common belief is that the program is more suitable for children who would eventually go to higher education abroad. How easy will it be for a child to transition to the Maharashtra board and Mumbai University colleges after finishing 10th grade? I think we were very, very clear that, first of all, the national education policy is aligning all the boards, right? So there is no going to be difference, in terms of reaching to the after college situation. Farzana ma'am, you want to address on,
Yes.
because you a little bit spoke about different boards. That's why if you have
so I would love to add that here, parents do not think of international board means moving overseas. International board means giving a different type of teaching learning environment to your child, developing your child so that he's skilled. I'll just share one very simple thing. Say about 10 years ago, did you know anything about a cyber crime professional, cyber frauds? No. But today it is the most happening career. Why? Because and which children were able to jumpstart into those careers? You are not our children who've got skills. So an international education will develop skills in your children, which will help them. They actually will make them future ready. You and I don't know what careers will be opened maybe 13, 14, 15 years from now. But if I have given them the skills, I'm sure my children will be ready. Over to you, Francis.
Thank you, ma'am. I think.
Francis, I wanted to add what Farzana ma'am has left. See, content is most of the board are almost at par. It's the way it got delivered and it's the way the skill set has been important, which make it difference. So rest assured, whether your school student goes to IB, CBSC or Cambridge, it's all about he will be knowing the same content, but whether and which way he is going to use that content, which make him unique. So transition will not be any challenge.
Lovely.
That's so true. I think so. Do not worry. My advice to every parent when they say which board is good, I said don't ask which board is good. Ask which is a good school. So the school drives the whole teaching and learning. You might have the best boards, but if the school is not, effective in teaching and learning, no point of the board. So it's the school you have to decide, not the board. You have to understand that aspect very clearly. Uh, Anna, I think the rest questions when it comes to about fee details and all, I think we should share that when they come to school. I would only request you that we will want you to come face to face. Aisha is here. Aisha, you want to say hi so that people just recognize you? I know that many people know you, but she's also one of our parishioners. So I think Aisha, you want to share a little bit next steps? Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Okay, a very good evening to all. Basically, I'm Aisha Gonzalez and I've been with the school right from the inception. So I am talking about when we began with just one classroom and now we are moving forward to the entire Cambridge pre-primary and the primary program. So looking forward, if you all have any queries regarding the school timings, the fees, the curriculum, the subjects offered, you all are free to visit us at the school. We are open from Monday to Saturday and between 9 to 1 p.m. So hoping to see many of you parents visit us soon.
Yes, parents. So I've shared the school number. And if you need an appointment to go and see the school, please, I would request everyone to please give a call and you can have a timing, which is aligned to you at your convenience. So you can go meet the coordinator, you can sit, get your questions answered, have a look around the school and then make a decision. So we hope you guys have all had a wonderful session this evening. I hope most of your questions are answered. If any of your questions are not answered, please write to the school email address that I have shared in the chat and the school will get back to us and we promise you that we will reply to you. Farzana ma'am has been very generous in helping all our schools. Parents have called to us and speak to her and she has never said no. She's one generous woman with her time and thank you Farzana ma'am for doing that for us always. And she's said she's going to be open to even answering your questions if you really need something that's not answered today. So please do write back to us. And we hope that you had a wonderful evening and a wonderful session. And thank you, everyone. A special thanks to Father George and Father Gavin and to the advisory board, Francis Joseph, Farzana Dohadwala, Mahesh Srivastava, and Tasneem for your beautiful, wonderful insights. And let me tell you, parents, we are truly ready with our truly international school now. The question just remains, are you truly ready to join us now? Okay. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. And we hope to see you as a future parents in our St. Pius X International School. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, Mahesh, especially Mahesh for finding time to come. Thank you so much and really appreciate. Anything, Father George, you want to share or Father Gavin, you want to just say a final note?
No, I just want to say goodbye to everyone and to thank Mahesh, to thank Crimson, to thank all our present teachers, our future teachers, and our present and future parents and the parishioners of St. Pius. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. God bless you.
A big thank you to Anna for hosting this show. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Father Gavin, your final words?
Yes, like Father George, thank you parents for coming for this orientation. It's been a little long, I'm sure, but I'm sure it was being very informative. Looking forward now to the current parents as well as the prospective parents and their children to coming to our school and to a wonderful education. Thank you once again for joining this. Thank you to Crimson Education. Thank you to Mahesh sir, to our staff, and all the parents and children. Thank you. God bless you. And looking forward to meeting all of you.
Mahesh, you want to share something?
Yes, I think that after joining Francis, Farjana, and Tanseem, I'm rest assured as far as the education of Cambridge is concerned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you.
We'll ensure that the flag flies higher, Mahesh.
Thanks, Francis. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.